What's up, yo? Well, here we are again. Another day of getting to be grateful and thankful, but in the form of complaining, you know? Because, well, here we are again, you know? Grateful and thankful that I got the ability to make noise, make sound, to draw attention, to be heard, to bring in and draw in coherence, you know, to produce more coherence, better said. And so, um, here we are going over these matters of what my experience has been. Like, you just want me drilled with my own, knowledge, So, for me, it's like you worked your whole life to stop me from thinking that I had a good memory, only now to find yourself drilling me nonstop with a wonderful, wonderful memory. You know, one that almost seems like stuck and repeated and on a loop. Almost like when we were younger and all we did is chase this idea of love. You know? But now that we're too smart for that, it just seems like now we're just chasing other stuff, But essentially where I'm going with this is you know, is you keep refreshing my memory, and you're bringing to mind the moments that I lived, believing and pretending and attempting to induce in myself beliefs of possessing myself, because I mean that's what it is to call achieving something within yourself, especially when you know that you were raised in a society that oppressed you by telling you not that you were a machine that bends light inside, instead fed you all the narratives of all the sub-workings and subcategories that would keep you imprisoned, Because I mean, today I went out and I experienced something, Today I experienced somebody randomly out in the street pretty much came back and like threw in my face that they had been doing all along this bending and light theory stuff, outside in the open. They were showing me the truth, and I was seeing it and thinking about it as being, something that was being sent in my direction like a fiery dart, And essentially, what they were doing were pretty much, like say I'd go to a store, a random grocery store. Clearly in the store I went in, with already every hack and every potential way to help you guys feel like you guys are superior. So, when I get into the store, I start to plot, oh, all right, now I got to go to the milk. And somebody says in the store randomly, now think about it. And then all of a sudden my mind does drift into thinking about, it's almost like I'm possessed and they're talking to something that's inside of me, possessing me, and then that thing that's inside of me is possessing me is trying to hide from me. So they direct the entire attention towards the oppressor, and the oppressor, they're trying to hide, so they direct the attention back to the possessor, and so in this back and forth scenario, I'm like the monkey in the middle, trying to complain about something, but I can't get my finger on it because every time I do, it moves, If I point inside, all of a sudden it leaves. If I point outside, all of a sudden, I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's like the 10-second man, 10-second Tom just shows up and he forgets in 10 seconds, whatever it was he was talking about, But essentially, like I said, this you're working on minimizing my whole life to just 10 seconds being the program that you run and repeat to get pretty much your outcome to result for you. It's like you guys are working from the back to the forward to the front. Your goal already in mind is 10 seconds in one instant will overwhelm him with all his feelings, with all his thoughts. Will push him, make him feel like he has to respond. Will have him think reaction. Will make him not, feel steady inside, emotionally or mentally, and then will make him appear threatening for everyone else. Is will turn on his demeanor to be inciting of everyone else's instincts, so they'll naturally feel fear, and thus will control their minds. When they actually direct their attention to him, we'll start to tell them what they should think, how they should think, what they shouldn't think, what they should think, how they should see, how they shouldn't see. And essentially, I'm in a store, and again, I'm just working my way to the milk. I got to the milk, now I'm at the milk, and I'm like, all right, now somebody else is going to attempt to use the theory of my ignorance and their knowledge of knowing that we bend light inside of us, So I walk around, I go from the milk aisle, now I'm going to go grab a cereal box, And I think about the cereal box, and then someone else says, now forget. So I'm walking to the cereal box, 10 seconds in, I forget. Oh shit, where was I going? I walk down another aisle rather than the cereal aisle because I'm trying to recapture my thought and my body has mindlessly wandered, trying to continue on with, being natural and regular when essentially it's lost at that moment, So I go down the wrong aisle. And then walking down that aisle, it comes back to me, oh yeah, I was gonna get cereal, So whatever was on me in that moment spiritually, attempting to constrain my thought process, limited that and made that in that sense, become that expressed right there with that impression. And so I walk to the cereal aisle, I get the cereal, right? And not only that, but I already know what cereal box I want, So I'm like, all right, looking for tricks. Nah, change your mind. Now think of a different one. Now buy two. No, never mind. Get three. Oh, look at the special. So all these things that I'm like just thinking on, it's regular natural thought. But first off, I don't have that necessity to overthink or to think that much, or even to act like I'm running from one idea to the next one, because clearly I know where I'm at. I know the process that you're trying to induce. So in that induction of something, I'm walking around the store again. I got the cereal, I got the milk, Now I'm gonna go get some peanut butter and jelly, So another random person in society that happens to know about this ability that we can bend light, So, whatever is observing me from within somehow seems to be also inciting or informing that perception or that perspective of that person in a way that brings their intuition to express what basically synchronizes with me, So while they're there blind, not knowing what they're doing, me, I'm like, motherfucker, I was just running from you from the aisle, and here I come to this aisle, and the conversation just picked up. So and then next thing you know, I'm in the store and I'm just there to shop. But look what's happened. Not only has paranoia entered the scene, now I'm running from my ideas, I'm running from my responses, I'm running from my emotions, I'm attempting to run from everything. And then all of a sudden fear sets in. Why am I afraid? Oh, because in your mind you're thinking that you're running from something. Not that you're running from something, you're just, someone's narrating and you're just following along. And you're forgetting that you're the one that has to live it, you're the one that has control over it. All they do is just narrate. So it's like me being here and I just keep telling y'all, yeah, suck it easy. Suck it easy. In my mind, I'm holding a steady breath, a rhythm, and how intake is a part of the process, but you guys are driven by whatever controls your mind. So the moment I tell you, suck it easy, somebody's going to show up and tell you there's a thought you should run from, there's one you should think, and there's one that you should altogether be afraid of. But it's just you. So this inside conscience, this subconscious, this alternate personality of yourself that clearly the world is begging us to maintain, us being the thing that's being blamed, taking the blame, and the only thing to arrive at to blame. So this whole like brainwashing each other, trying to keep each other lost or confused, like there's no point in it, Like I told you guys, I started this right here initially just because I'm telling you guys the perspective of your guys' insistence, upon 10-second Tom becoming 10-second bomb, becoming 10 seconds on TV, and 10 seconds it took you to move on with your life. But while I'm here, I just got to sit here and remind you about those 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Because in 10 seconds, I'm going to forget. And then I'm going to be asked to feel some kind of way. I probably might feel mad. Probably might not feel mad. Probably might just, stutter some more. Or, have fun with it. It's my experience. I'm just trying to make sure I'm going to get paid. Or at least have some form of entertainment for myself later. Rather than sitting here with memories that I can't access. That I probably won't even see truthfully. That will only show me what it wants me to see from the point of view that it wants to have me perceive from, rather than the entire memory, And in this way, here it is. Look, what will I have to doubt? I'll just go and press play, and I'll be like, Look at that's the scenes that you put on. That's your acting, that's your performing. You could have been more down to earth, more present, but no. The whole time you just want to sit here and show them how you're just possessed. How you're just sitting here with another spirit on your chest, with some influence trying to act like it's here, not here, constraining you, not constraining you, right? Because what? You're letting me talk? Because I'm talking? Because I doubt it. Even though I'm talking, I'm pretty sure you're still here. So what happens with 10 Second Tom? Since 10 Second Tom was a possibility, if I flip the script and I want to become like Infinity Tom, where I'll remember forever, always, in every moment. I mean, you guys, were willing to practice making me into 10 Second Tom. Let's evolve and let's make it Infinite Tom instead, I mean, we're already there and we're more likely to reach that than it is trying to get to something you have to not only be under the illusion, and willing to perform. But as far as I'm concerned, no one has me in Hollywood, so fuck y'all. I mean, in my own movie, I'm my own star, my own scene. I am the movie, I am the star, and I am the scene. And look, all the invisible stuff, all the quiet stuff, all the stuff you think doesn't sell, I could just sit here and it sells. You buy it, and you don't even have to pay for it. And you still do. But carry on, though. Because I'm the one that needs words. As if I haven't been learning how to read my own energy, which requires silence. It doesn't require me talking. The only reason I talk or communicate anything is because of people that feed off of my information and my knowledge and manage and control me with such information. Or other than that, I'd be here quiet. I would be meditating, practicing my chakra points, because right now, all that I've consistently felt is just from my root chakra all the way to my heart chakra, it's just constantly fluctuating, and then from my heart chakra, into my throat chakra, crown chakra, pineal gland chakra, like all those things are where you guys live, where you guys play, where your magic becomes real, and I get to practice real magic. I just call it existence, but nonetheless, to make it relevant, and associate you guys in the proper, respectful way, blasphemous as I can possibly be. Right, guys? But carry on, though. So again, 10 Second Tom. Well, what is it going to be to make Infinite Tom? Am I just going to be just conscience? Just... I remember when I used to do mindfulness, and the first time I meditated, I was just sitting here, and they'd be like, all right, just watch and observe your thoughts as they come and they go. Don't engage with your thoughts. Just watch it and just watch it go. Let it come and then let it go. And just concentrate on your meditation. Stay grounded. Keep your attention on your, feet of your sole of your feet, or on your buttocks, or make sure you keep your back or your spine aligned, or keep your head rails up high, your chin up high. I mean, mindfulness. It was a wonderful practice. It's a wonderful practice, And so now it's more like, what was I living then versus what am I living now? That's different, because like the only difference is now I don't see a thought being a thought. Now I see every thought as a potential other conscience that happened to reach me and is trying to hide behind the idea that it's a thought. But it's not, because here I am, conscience. Conscience with every other conscience. But I'm going to try to make you guys feel small and remind us all that you guys are all small by telling you that that thought is just a thought, not a conscience. Carry on, mindfulness. You guys are still talking about leave them alone. Leave who alone? Leave what alone? Like, you guys are not allowed to leave a we're leaving card. Just get the fuck out of here. Nobody needs a memo. And I still hear you guys. So I'm just telepathic then. Because, I mean, if I accept telepathy as being my reason why I hear what I hear, then I can make sense with it. I could cope, and there's nothing to explain to anybody. I'm just telepathic, you know? But if you guys are insistent upon this being an explanation, then you're here telling me that you guys have an answer. And if you're looking at me and looking at me, then I must be that answer. You feel me? So what is it? Like I told you guys, there's no such thing as thoughts, just more consciousnesses, you know? So I usually sit here and I wait for thoughts. But now that I know that those aren't thoughts, those are people, consciousness, you know, something existing here. You know? I mean, are you broken? You know, did you just barely pick up English? Are you some stupid fucking paisa that only knows 3 fucking words or some shit or what? Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. I mean, are those only 3 fucking words you know? Come on, you fucking wetbag. Or you wish you were that cool? Oh, no habla el inglés, nomás habla español. Oh, you no habla español, ¿ah? Nomás inglés. Ah, eso sí explica, ¿sabe qué? ¿Sabe? Solamente me han andado aquí peleándome y platicando en puro inglés. ¿Qué pasó con la raza y el español? ¿Mis demonios nomás saben puro inglés o qué putas? No mamen. A lo siquiera llegarían a haber llegado con un latino, fucking German, a lo que sea, pero fuck, puro inglés. Just English for my demon? Only English? No Spanish, only English? I mean, dude, you guys know I understand other languages. I don't have to explain this to you. If you were a demon, you would show up talking another language. You know? At least with me. Not here. Let's talk English so the whole world can decode it. Fuck out of here. But carry on. You know, I love to know that I've been feeding English language to an algorithm that has maintained primarily only like the boundary of English being its wall. You know? ¿Qué pasó con el español? ¿Los domina o qué? Lo deja bien cogido, me imagino, ¿verdad? So again, I mean, what language do your guys' schizophrenic inducing friends speak, you know? Is it language that conducive of soundings that correlate with English? Or is it Spani? Oh, Spani, the grande spansa timey. What you thinking? Anybody? I mean, dude, you guys have bugged, insisted upon some form of truth, you know? I mean, I had to give up believing that I was crazy. Because you guys thought it was a good fucking idea. Only to grab sanity and figure out that the only way sanity can express itself is with insanity. Which means you get pushed in, you get oppressed, you get possessed until whatever was good in you gets twisted, turned into everything and anything else that is seen as good or not good. You know? But again, I'm just doing it for you guys. You guys are the ones that need the drama, Because if you guys had to go through this, their belief is that you guys would die. So this is me dying in your place. This is me being crucified in your place. This is me walking to the front line in your place. All the way from my house, all the way from my RV, all the way from my current location, I'm fighting for your mind, for your soul's freedom to express itself freely without confusion, without illusion, without delusion. And not because I wanted to, I'll tell you that much. I might have had good intentions, but I was planning on taking the crawling path. The path where you just crawl your way to wherever you gotta get. You baby your way the whole way there. Probably carry a freaking bottle in your mouth the entire time. That was my plan. But no, I had to be believing that I was tormented or possessed or oppressed or whatever nonsense. I had to overcome all the walls I put up to get to my true self. And those are all the things that look out so that I don't look at myself, that take you away from actually arriving at the real solution, the real way of solving it. So, again, you're here trying to twist me up, trying to make me into something that the world, hasn't already been shown? Hasn't already seen? I mean, I don't see what they're afraid of. They've lived with you guys, your guys' whole life. Poison narratives, poison, ways of existing, teaching you to be a problem solver, only to live the rest of your life unable to solve a problem. Yeah, meeting bills, paying bills, making that suffice, but ultimately bending to your own will. And not being told, being given the narrative that no, because you didn't know. Because you didn't care. Because you didn't try hard enough. Because you didn't invest. Because you couldn't stand the pressure of somebody bugging you all day long to get your attention so that you would pay attention to yourself. But like me, when it comes down to suffering, all of a sudden I got time for everything. Oh, I'm suffering! Ah! But ask me, do I want to go run? Ask me if I want to lift the weights that are on my floor. Ask me if I want to pray or read a Bible. Ask me if I'm already all ready and set to just go and press play on a tablet and go watch some Netflix. Ask me. But here I am for suffering, all willing and giving and here completely. How many of you guys are willing to suffer? Or are you hiding from it too? Hello? So think about it. Because my whole plan before was just be happy, Be happy all the time, everywhere I went. All I carried was just joy. If you see me, whatever I was doing, I was happy to do it. If you see me talking to somebody, whatever it was I was saying to them, I was happy to say it, And half the time, I wasn't saying shit. I wasn't contributing. I wasn't being of any value. All I was doing is expressing opinions, and we all have been damaged by how much those opinions, being expressed so openly, in effect, having cause or effect or effect. So think about it. I mean, I'm paying my dues right now, right? Every time I go to work and all these people show up and dump all these opinions, is that my childhood past self and all that bullshit that I talked coming back and biting me in the ass? Is that big mother karma coming and giving us a kick in the ass? Think about it. Because lately I've been dropping a lot of fucks. This and that, here and there. Anywhere and everywhere. Reproduce and multiply. So think about it. How much karma do I have to collect before you guys can finally be free? Think about it. Back to y'all. Yeah, it's like a three-way relationship, huh? Talk about being a third wheel, huh? 1, 2, and 3. You know? Because, come on, it's your environment. It's more alive than we give it credit, you know? It's like I'm here with heavenly bodies in my sky that are in motion. I mean, one of those heavenly bodies also in motion. You know? So, is it sacred? Yeah. Yeah. Very much. You know? But other than that, let's just put it like this. You know, this video, it's always entertaining to make them for y'all. You know? It just sucks that there has to be a winner and a loser. You know? For anything to go every way that I don't want it to go. You know? Because my plan was always, I'm not here to dump trauma and of emotion on you or mental, you know, anguish. That's my shit, you know? I'm stingy about my shit, so don't touch my shit at all. But what I'm here to do is, you know, let you get a sneak peek. I'm letting you be as demonic as every other demon entity or whatever angelic entity or whatever misinterpreted, misunderstood, and mistranslated thing is around here, you know? Just by putting you on video, you're with them. Whatever they are. You know? By sitting here and watching myself, I'm with them. Whatever they are. You know? So I'll leave you guys with that. Hopefully I was able to make do with you guys' time and, you know, pay you guys properly. At that instant, what happened was my back chakra was leaned on, one of them. So that's why it came out all fuzzy. Essentially, basically, all that messes with any of your internal workings or just your chakra channels, your main chakra channels. So for performers, for people that actually put on things on media, social media, any of them, you could sit there and interview them, you know, interview them and ask them intimate, drastic questions pertaining to what they have to actually undergo to be able to perform and carry out the duties, the responsibilities, the priorities, and the obligations that their particular area of expertise or direction of career might actually call for them to actually, you know, inhabit and so on and so forth, you know. But that's one way of looking at it. Because what else am I experiencing here? You know? I mean, I already know I'm a professional, you know, at whatever I am. But somehow, from inside of me and my, you know, embodying it, you want to be considered as something that we will not only from the beginning know that we're going to share credit with, but when we get to our achievement, acknowledge that we owe credit to as well. You know? Because you can call it complaining all day. Fuck yeah. You know, but essentially that's just a baby way of showing gratitude, being thankful. You know, that's the cheap way of living in a cheap reality that we want to prove to everybody is cheap. You know, so essentially, you know, for those that live without being afraid to be dark or misunderstood or even in the shadows for whatever duration of your self-discovery, self-empowerment, and self-embodiment. So you're actually present. You know? So when you're bad, you can say, yeah, that was me who was bad. You know? When you're reactive, yeah, that was me who was reactive. You know? Not, I don't think I did that. No, wait. It didn't happen like that. You know? Because every fucking criminal is reflected right there in that alone. You know? But again, enough of all this trying to make a point to y'all, you know? God is good. Every day is good. God is love. I am rooted and grounded in love, says the word. It also says that I can take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and use it against the enemy, that the weapons of my warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, that I am anointed to preach, to teach, to heal, and to cast out devils, Luke 9:1-2. That I've been forgiven and set free from the power of sin by the blood of Jesus Christ, that even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So I speak that over myself, over your guys' existence, over your happenings. I speak life, opportunity, and awakenedness in all of y'all. God bless y'all. Jesus loves you, and keep you guys' heads up, y'all.